section 1.3, we want to think about what it takes to make a simple random sample. Now, random sampling in general is the process of using chance, in other words, probability, to select individuals from a population to be included in the sample. A simple random sample, which we abbreviate as SRS, is a sample where every possible sample of size n has an equally likely chance of being obtained from the population of size capital N, right? There's that lowercase n is sample size, capital N is population size that we saw a while ago. Now, there are a lot of things to keep in mind as you're looking at this. The random sample piece is trying to avoid sampling bias, right? Remember, we always want unbiased samples, right? So we want unbiased samples, which is in real life is not always possible, but in our class we're going to try to pretend like we can find them more easily than they can be found in real life. The list of all individuals in the population is called the frame. It's just a fancy name for list. There are many, many ways to take random unbiased samples. So we're just going to kind of look at a few of them. This particular section, we're going to look at the most basic one, which is a simple random sample. Also keep in mind you can sample without replacement. Sampling without replacement is when an individual selected is removed and then cannot be chosen again. So if you think about dealing a deck of cards, right? If you deal the cards to somebody's hand, then they're no longer in the deck for other people to have, right? That's without replacement. Sampling with replacement is when the individual that was selected is placed back in the population and could be chosen a second time, which doesn't make sense for cards, but it would make sense for, say, dice or something like that. Although those are not really samples, but that's a different discussion. All right, a convenience sample is a sample in which the individuals are easily obtained and not inherently based on randomness. So internet polls, persons on the street polls, a lot of times those late night shows will do person on the street interviews with people coming out of bars and get kind of wacky answers. Those are convenient samples. All of the, phone in for who you want to win this particular competition show, that is convenient sampling. But again, it might be fine for what they're trying to accomplish. Individuals in convenience samples are often self-selected. They volunteer, right? They choose to participate, particularly for things like internet polls or vote for your winner of this particular game show. If convenience is used, then the results are statistically meaningless. I mean, it doesn't change the fact of who won whatever show you're on or watching, but statistically speaking, that doesn't mean a lot. All right, so let's look at some examples. So a statistics instructor wants to obtain a simple random sample, SRS, of 3 students from her class of 27 students. She assigns each student a number from 1 to 27 based on her role, which lists the students alphabetically by last name. She claims that each of the following is a simple random sample. Is she right? All right. So the instructor asks a student in class to randomly choose 3 numbers from 1 to 27. The student chooses 15, 18, and 21. The students with those assigned numbers represent the samples of size 3. Well, that is very much not random. People think they choose randomly when they choose numbers off the top of their head, but they do not. And particularly because this was based on the instructor's role, if the student knows that people with last names of S and T are going to be down here, and they have a last name that starts with A, then they know that they're not going to be chosen, right? So this is very much not random. But in general, people do not choose randomly when they guess numbers. People tend to guess numbers in patterns. Anybody who's ever watched anything about lottery tickets knows this to be the case because oftentimes they have to split the winnings because they all chose the same numbers. That was more common back in the day. A lot of people have gotten smart and choose the random number choice option from the computer, which is a better play. All right, StatCrunch randomly chooses 3 numbers from 1 to 27 and reports these numbers. The students with those numbers represent an SRS of size 3 from this class. Yes, right, that is definitely a simple random sample. That's as close as we are going to get. Technically, there's something funky with the randomness going on that I'm not going to get into, but if you get into an upper level class, they'll say, well, computers can't be truly random, which is true. However, the computer program StatCrunch is programmed to be random enough for any purposes you would need it for. The teacher has 2 10-sided dice. She will roll them as many times as it takes to generate 3 numbers between 1 and 27. In this way, she obtains 26, 27, and 14. I'm going to go on a limb and say that these dice are fair 10-sided dice. So let me show you how this would work because I happen to have two 10-sided dice right here. So I rolled the number 77. That's not going to count because that's not between 1 and 27. That's 57, 84, and so on. And you keep going until you get a number that's in your student's area. This might take me a while. Haha, my very next roll, I got 16. So there you go. So you just keep going and going. As long as the dice are fair, which these dice are reasonably fair, then this should work out and this should be a yes. Again, we're going to assume the dice are fair. If the dice are not fair, then it would not be fair. It would not be a simple random sample because then some numbers would be more likely than others. The whole point of a simple random sample is that every number is equally likely to be chosen. The teacher puts the numbers on slips of paper torn from a sheet of paper. Right, so they take a big sheet of paper and they put people's names on it and then they tear them into slips. And then those slips can be chosen from a hat and obtain 7, 17, and 22. This is not fair. It's a little strange. It's biased, but in a weird way. It's biased towards longer names, potentially because of the strips of the paper, but they don't tear in uniform ways. So not every number or not every name is equally likely. So the larger pieces will be more likely to be chosen. This is just the nature of gravity, right? As you're fishing around in the hat, the smaller pieces will fall to the bottom, and then the bigger pieces will be on the top. It's sort of like a big box of Raisin Bran. Same idea. So now let's take this a step further. Let's look at example 2. A researcher is interested in analyzing whether there are differences in Medicaid funding for the different U.S. Census regions. So the U.S. Census breaks down the U.S. into the Northeast, the Midwest, which is where we are in Michigan, if you're interested, the South, and the West. So what types of data are listed in the table? Oh, okay. So the number here, these numbers are qualitative, if you'll remember, right? They're qualitative because even though they're not numbers with actual meaning, right? There's no meaningful calculations are possible. For example, you can't add Virginia's numbers to West Virginia's number, add them up and divide by 2, you get 37. It doesn't mean anything, right? So they are qualitative numbers, right? It's the same as like ATM numbers or social security numbers. And the state, well, those are words, so that's rather obviously qualitative. Just a little review there. Now, how could you take a convenient sample? Well, there's lots of ways. Your 10 favorite states, the 10 states that are closest to you, the 10 states that you want to visit the most. Pick a method. So I'll just write one down. I'll just write them all in, right? So there are a lot of different possibilities. I I just wrote the 10 closest states, but you could go on and on and on. But all of them would be a terrible way to try to be doing an unbiased sample, especially the ones that are closest to you. Those are very biased because, of course, you're in a geographic region. So if you pick the ones that are closest to you, you're most likely to be in that geographic region. So now we're going to use StatCrunch to take a random sample of 10 states with replacement. And we're also going to do it without replacement. Okay, so I pulled up the data sets for students page. Let me grab that. And I've logged into StatCrunch, of course, so we can see it. And we're looking right here at the 1314 notes US Census region. So I'm going to click on that StatCrunch page. And I've already logged into StatCrunch. So I can see the different regions are right here. But I can also see they're numbered right here. This is for different purposes because we're going to use this in two different methods for section 1.4 and 1.3. So the easiest one will actually be to look at these numbers in states right here. So I'm going to say to the computer, data, sample, right? You're trying to take a sample, and I'm going to choose, and you can just choose number, or you can choose number and state if you so desire. And you can say to it, you want a sample of size 10, and you want to do it with replacement. So I'm checking this box right here that says with replacement. Now, the one thing is that if you do just one column, you can just say one column. number, sample with replacement, you're fine. If you do both of them, if you want to say both of them together, so you know it was, number 5 New Jersey or number 21 Wisconsin, then what you want to do is click this sample all columns at one time. It'll kind of keep the columns together. But again, if you only do just one column, the number, then that's not important and you don't need to bother with it. All right, so then I would click compute, and it kind of brings this box up, which I don't need. But then I can see the sample over here. And you can see 39 was Alaska, 30 was Mississippi, and so on. 25 was Florida. Now, the state names was not specifically asked for. It's just kind of fun so that you can actually see them. And again, I did that by doing both columns at the same time. But it wasn't important. It wasn't necessary. So let's write down how we did this. So we did data, sample, and then we selected the number and the name columns. We selected with replacement. And we also did, it's both columns at the same time. Let me double check my work right here. Options, edit, sample all columns at one time. That piece right there. So all columns at one time. But the important part was that we did with replacement. And then we can write our answer, and everybody would have a different answer because everybody is working with this random generator differently. So I would have 39, 30, 25, 43, 37, 35, 50, 6, 33, and 23. I ended up not having any repeats, but it is possible to have repeated values here because we did this one with replacement. So I wrote down those numbers right there. That's my sample. Right? All right, so then what if I want to do this without replacement? Well, it's the same thing. It's data and sample again. It's going to be selecting number. You can select number and name if you want. I just prefer that because I like to see what the states were. So the number and name columns, but we're going to do it with, we're not going to check the with replacement box, you'll see. So let me go grab it. So data, sample, scroll down, number and state. Oh, sorry. Yeah, number and state, not number and name. I'll fix that. And then we want a sample size 10. And we're not going to select this box that says with replacement. We're not going to do it. But we are going to select this box. We want it to tie those two columns together. So when it samples one, it's sampling the other so that the number for the state and the state name go together. And then that's it. And we click compute. And then it gave me another sample over here. So this first one was with replacement. This second one over here is without replacement. Now you can write my numbers on your paper or you can write your own. You can follow along and do this yourself and get your own values for this because you're going to have to know how to do that for some projects and some worksheets later on in the course anyway. So that's how to sample both with replacement and without replacement. And I wrote the instructions right here. So it was number and state in this example. Again, state's not always there. So let me kind of put that in a bracket, right? The number piece usually is. Right? You select from the main category. And then you can do this all columns at one time thing if you desire, right? If you want to include that state column. If you don't include the state column, then you don't need that piece. But what's really key is that when you want it with replacement, you select the with replacement box. And when you want it without replacement, you don't check that box. And that's how you get samples from StatCrunch. Well, I should say simple random samples from StatCrunch.